Welcome to episode 205 of the Campus Comics Cast, where we lament the destruction of our digital world. I am Scott Reed, and I'm joined on this episode by
Mike Atchison.
All right, and in case you haven't heard, Microsoft is shutting down Skype, and that's how we record all of our chats for the Campus Comics Cast. So now we're in search of a new platform for us to do recordings. Now, we have the obvious candidates, Zoom. Of course, Microsoft wants us to go to Teams. I'm looking at some open source alternatives. There's one called Jammy, which I discovered, so we'll consider doing that one. But if you happen to be a podcaster who does some remote recording and has a recommendation for us, we would love to hear that. So, Mike, you got any further comments on Skype?
Well, it's like just as I get used to Skype, because I wasn't a lifelong Skype user or for the lifetime of this way of communicating, although it's been around for a long time, I never used it until we started recording with it. And I used Zoom with work for a while, and then they switched over to Teams, and I still think Zoom is my favorite platform for video recording, video discussions. But, of course, 40 minutes is what you're limited to, and you all know that we talk longer than 40 minutes for the most part, so at least I do.
Yeah, my big problem with Teams is if I have an account at work, so if I put Teams on my home machine, which I actually have it running for works because I teach so I can communicate with my students, but then if I inject my personal account in there, it's like how much of my work, some of those work tentacles can make it into my private communications, or if I'm in the wrong tenant and I type something in that I intended for one channel instead of another one, it's just, oh my goodness. Yes. It's just potentially going to be a mess.
Never trust Big Brother tech. Never.
That's
never,
right.
Never.
So, and in other digital news, in case you have not heard, Dark Horse is actually closing their digital app. So if you are one of the two people who actually bought anything on the Dark Horse app, you need to download it because they are no longer going to even support downloads at some point in the near future. I did a Kickstarter for a game based on Cullen Bunn's Tales of Harrow County. So I had the complete series that was gifted to me as part of that Kickstarter on the Dark Horse app. So I went ahead and pulled that down, but the next time that device gets wiped, it'll be gone. So,
oh, how the mighty!
You ever used the Dark Horse app?
I've never used it, but they were in that second tier of publishers. You had the big two, and then you had Image was maybe between the second tier and the big two, but then you had Dark Horse and two or three others, and it's really surprising to see how far that they've fallen, and it does kind of represent the risk you take with digital collecting or digital reading and even purchasing. That's yeah. So
and Dark Horse isn't the only one. Marvel is actually closing their Marvel Insider program. Now this is just an add-on to the Marvel app, where as you read books, you got points, and then you could go through and it primarily was digital rewards. They occasionally would have a physical reward that if you earned enough points, you could go I don't know, get certain things. So I had to go blow through a bunch of points just to, say that I spent my insider points. And not have to sweat.
I might have to see how many points I've got. Is it shut down already, or do we have time?
No, it's you got a little time. I had 300,000 points or something like that in the app. It was something ridiculous. So I went and downloaded some trades. Of course, the trades are 60,000. So it's not like you got very much for all these.
Heaven
points.
forbid anyone leave points on the table anywhere. Hotels,
exactly.
Airlines, anything. Yeah.
Take advantage of those. So, all right, Mike, you want to do a real quick promo for what is coming out this April?
Oh, heck yeah. I've been, for once I'm prepared, and it's the JSAPril 2025 event. Now, this is, there's been JL May in the past, and then this year we have JSAPril, and as you can imagine, this focuses on Justice Society of America tales, and it's coming soon in April, obviously, celebrating 85 years of the world's first and greatest superhero team. Now, I'm reading verbatim from Shag Matthews. He's sort of the head honcho on this event, so I don't. I want to read it so I get it all in and get it in properly. So back in 1940, there were 8 sensational heroes united to create the world's very first superhero team, the Justice Society of America. Now, 85 years later, we're gathering podcasters and bloggers from around the globe for a month-long celebration in an event we're calling JS April. Through April 2025, you can join dozens of podcasters and bloggers as they each share their own unique tributes to the original and greatest superhero team. Every participant in JS April is doing their own thing, so whether you choose to enjoy just one entry or experience them all, there's something special for everyone. Get ready for an all-star month of beloved characters, fascinating insights, and incredible stories. Be sure to follow the action on social media with hashtag JSApril, and you can visit the website, the Fire and Water website, for a complete list of participating podcaster bloggers and what we're covering. So that's the fireandwaterpodcast.com/JSApril. You can find that, probably the longest list I've ever seen on one of these crossover events. I find them to be quite fun. I mean, you have just a lot of different voices, and clearly you don't have to listen or read everything, but if you go to that website, you're going to see what's being covered, and you can kind of pick and choose what might interest you. And
And I
yeah, I was going
go ahead.
to say what we are covering, which I forgot to write down, but I did. It's JSA, and that's the Jeff Johns series, that first one, um, 68 through 72. So that is a story arc that is basically the present day of 2005, going back in time to ensure that the JSA of the 1940s, or like 1951, I'd say, prevent them from quitting as a result of the Un-American Activities Committee, or whatever the heck it was called, back the McCarthy era. So,
Mark Carthy
yeah, it's
area.
sort of a retrofitting, a new story, and I just read it this past week, and it's hard for me to reserve my comments, but I will.
You're going to have
I'm
to.
gonna have
So,
to.
and I have been including a JSAPril promo at the end of the last several of our Campus Comics Cast episodes. So if you just want a little bit more information, you can hang around to the very, very end of this episode, and there'll probably be another promo. We did have some listener feedback from episode 204, where we did our first 5, primarily about our first 5 of Hercules. The first comment was from Michael Cathro. Thanks for another entertaining episode. Hercules was a surprising choice for a character to look back on. He hasn't ever really been a key collector target. I always thought of him as the budget Thor, and I'm going to go ahead and say, Michael, I think you're right. If you need a pretty vanilla strongman on your group, he's your man, a la the 1975 champions. I think the biggest drawback is that other than strength and invulnerability, Hercules didn't bring anything extra to the table. I guess it says something that the only story I can remember him in is the Masters of Evil heavy hitters, including Wrecking Crew, Mr. Hyde, Tiger Shark, and Goliath, beat a drunken Hercules into a coma in Avengers 274. The overall Avengers Under Siege storyline was good. And we, of course, thank Michael for those comments. And just to add, that Under Siege storyline from Avengers, I believe at one point was voted like the best Avengers storyline. And to me, the only story that I've really ever would say that I super enjoyed, and I think I mentioned it on the episode, was at Avengers 262,
Hmm.
where him and Namor just kind of duke it out for the sake of duking it out.
Yeah.
And then Eric at Longbox Review had a couple of comments for us here. So the first thing is he wanted to mention the 1983 miniseries Hercules Prince of Power. Now this was actually, I think, the one that Eric is mentioning because he had I think he said it was the first one that he listened to
Right.
or read, excuse me, was this second volume of Hercules, Prince of Power, written and drawn by Bob Layton. So there are two separate four-issue series by Bob Layton that cover Hercules, and then Eric mentioned that I guess at some point one of us, or he said and I think this is more of a maybe a request for a future discussion. So I don't know, Mike, if you want to tackle this right now or not. Well, I've already started. I guess
Yeah,
we could
go ahead.
tackle it. So Mike mentioned he knew someone who collects covers featuring weddings. Do either of you collect comics, covers, or stories that are specific like
It was
that?
actually Eric asked that, I believe, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then this is Eric,
Okay.
and he says, I only buy covers by artists I really like, Perez, Latte, Frisson, etc. So
Right.
this one actually got quite a few replies to it. So, Mike, what covers do you like to
Oh, this
collect?
this fired me up. I mean, I love homage covers. I don't buy many variants, but if it's an homage variant and it is attractive or it interests me, I get it. Now, I mentioned that on my response to Eric that the homage covers that I like are um, Gulliver's Travels. You know, where Gulliver's tied
Mm-hmm.
down by the Lilliputians, I believe is their their name. Burst through covers is not really an homage, but it's kind of like you think of Detective Comics 38, where Robin's bursting through the
Mm-hmm.
hoop. That is kind of a thing over the years. Of course, Scott knows better than most my love affair with unofficial DC Marvel crossovers or appearances. Like the most famous one I guess is the Rutland, Vermont stuff. But
Yeah.
there are a lot more out there than what I was aware of. Scott's usually able to point them out to me and then subsequently sell them to me because I will buy it. But some of I did go ahead and put some homage covers that I asked anybody that wanted to chime in to see if they knew what it came from. If you want to go to our Facebook page, you'll see those and you can guess for yourself.
All right. And you did have, I believe, one correct answer, right, from Michael Cathro on the homage to Justice League of America
Yes,
#1.
yes, yeah, yep.
For me, I guess they're the two biggest, like, quote unquote, sub genre things that I collect are Dave Stevens covers. And of course, there's a couple of them that I don't know if I'm actually going to purchase them or not because they're pretty risque, beyond risque, maybe. And then the other thing, and this is something relatively new, I've been doing this for a while now, but I've started to accumulate a decent collection. It started with the idea of just anytime you have superheroes playing beach volleyball, and I've kind of extended that just to being anything volleyball. So I've got a list of about, I don't know, 40, 50 books where they're either on the cover or the interiors. Unfortunately, there's a lot of manga that has this as a topic. I've decided I'm not going to include manga. I picked up one or two of them. I'm like, this isn't for me. But so I'm just going to stick to the comic book format for that. So those are two of my big
Yeah,
ones.
yeah. I
And then, go ahead,
I
Mike.
was
I'm
just gonna
sorry.
say, I was just gonna mention what Michael Cathro had been entertaining for. Uh, he'd been toying with the idea of getting homage covers to Spider-Man #1 and Incredible Hulk #1, but he hasn't yet.
Okay. And then the last thing, and I'm trying to remember where this. Oh, I think it was because we also did what we've been reading,
Hmm.
right? And Eric at Longbox Review mentioned that Mike, you have convinced him that he's going to pick up Minor Arcana whenever it gets collected. So,
Eric, I hope you're not disappointed. Sometimes it worries me. I'm like, oh my gosh, maybe I overstated how good it was, but I stand by it. I stand by it.
all right, good deal. So, all right, so we're actually here primarily to talk about previews and pre-orders for books that are coming out in what is that May of 2025.
Hmm.
So we'll just at this point, I guess we're ready to dive right in. So let's go to the next phase catalog, and I actually do not have anything until we get to DC. So it's all you, Mike. Other than to say, this catalog this month has at Lunar has added several new publishers to the catalog, And the biggest three are Bad Idea, Archie. Just for you, Mike, they picked up Tomorrow's.
Yay.
Yay. So now there's some other smaller publishers that are in there, but those were like the three biggest names. Did any other names of the publishers really jump out to you?
I was really more paying attention to what wasn't in the Diamond previews catalog, and really the only holdouts are the big ones are like Dynamite and Titan. Yeah. So I don't know what they're gonna do, assuming the worst, but I'll try not to assume the worst. But who knows? Yeah, I do have a couple, and I've got Ahoy. Archie is Mr. Justice #4. Now, speaking of homage covers, this series.
Well, that would be in Archie, not in Ahoy.
Sorry?
That would be in Archie, not in Ahoy.
Oh, did I say Archie Comics? I meant Ahoy Comics, yeah. In Ahoy Comics, Archie is Mr. Justice #4. And
you said the same thing again.
It's Ahoy. Oh my gosh, it's Archie Comics, yeah.
It's Archie Comics.
Oh my gosh. I wrote it down wrong, okay? Okay, that'll be in our blooper clip. Thank you very much.
That'll just stay in the main one, probably. So, yeah.
Okay, from Archie Comics, Archie is Mr. Justice #4 for the third time. Variant homage covers has been, I've noticed, somewhat of a thing for this little 4-issue miniseries. I bought issue #1, which had an homage of Crisis on Infinite Earths #7. And this issue has an homage to The Killing Joke. So I just wanted to mention that I haven't been getting the entire series. I just got #1 because of the Crisis cover.
All right. Yeah, I was surprised to flip through and see Archie there for the first time. It was like, that's when I said, I guess I should pay attention to what other publishers are in here when I saw Archie. So
yeah, you know that homage cover does kind of have that Matt Talbot is the artist. And his style is he must have worked at it to make it look like Brian Boland.
Probably, so yeah, definitely.
But,
anything else before?
Yeah, I got AWA.
Okay.
And it's called Lookout, and it's a one-shot, and it's written by Dan Bailey and illustrated by Tim Bradstreet. Now, this isn't your typical comic. It's basically full color painted illustrations, in a prose book.
Yep. And,
it's definitely creepy looking, and it intrigued me enough that I'm going to order it. I don't know Tim Bradstreet, the artist, except it says that he did some work on The Punisher and Hellblazer. So I do like painted comic artwork. So this seems like a winner to me. It's 48 pages for $9. It's oversized too. So sorry, Scott. It won't be for you probably.
Too many words in this one too for me, I think. So.
Yeah, I'm not going to even try to give the description, but it's basically a horror / thriller and cardstock cover. So yeah, I think I'll give it a try. And then also from AWA, if you don't have anything. We have Death Planet.
Well, that's actually Bad Idea, and it's Planet Death. I think.
Guys, I thought, yes, but it's under. It doesn't really show Bad Idea.
So on page 21, it shows the cover, and at the very bottom it says Bad Idea. So
okay, you're right. Okay, I know you get tired of me saying that, but Bad Idea.
Never.
Yeah. So it's I don't know if it's Death Planet or Planet Death.
It's Planet Death.
Yeah. Okay. So it's a 0 issue, and it's prestige format, 24 pages, and it looks like, even though I didn't find it in any other in the previews Diamond catalog for free comic book day offering, but it references that it is an FCBD book. So hopefully your store will get it. But I think it looks like really good art. It's science fiction. It's just got some good imagery for that genre. So I think I'd like to give it a try. And if it's pretty good, I'll maybe get subsequent issues.
I am still just so frustrated with Bad Idea. just
Oh
because of the
yeah.
fact that the whole thing with Bad Idea was that they were going to ship only directly to physical comic book stores. And then they backed off from that and went exclusively to Kickstarter. And now they're back to doing it like everybody else does, and they're going through one of the distributors. So,
Yeah.
so it literally was how they started, a bad idea.
I was out in Salt Lake City this past weekend visiting. We were visiting our daughter, and I, of course, when my wife and daughter are out doing things, shopping, etc., I went to a couple shops that I basically revisited them because I've been there not only as a customer in previous years when I lived out there, but I also interviewed both places for an episode of uh, Comic Shop Roadshow. And I talked to the one of the owners of the nerd store named Charles, and he said that Bad Idea is having a big event at their store. So if you're in the Salt Lake City area
Oh,
and you happen to be listening, I don't know. I didn't record the conversation. I was just checking in and saying hi, but they're going to have something going on. And they got some pretty cool, no pun intended, ideas to promote Bad Idea.
good deal. So I've read a few good things from Bad Idea, but again, it's just so frustrating, that they kind of promised one thing and didn't really deliver on it.
Yeah.
I'm still nothing till DC. So
I'm ready for DC.
all right, well, I'm on page 83, so you have the floor until page 83.
Okay. I'm searching through my list here. Superman Unlimited is it's a new ongoing from DC, and it's been a while since we've had a new Superman ongoing. It's part of the All In initiative, and I don't have much more to say except it's written by a newcomer to DC, Dan Slott. I think it's his first series that he's writing for DC, and it's got if it's got art by Raphael Albuquerque, then it's going to be good art. That's about all I have to say with it, except this is part of that Summer of Superman kind of an event, kind of just a promotional thing. But yeah, I'm going to give it a try just because it's a new ongoing featuring Superman. Because right now I'm not buying action or Superman, so I look forward. Hopefully, we get the creative team that stays together and on it for more than just a few issues.
Dan Slott will stick around for a while. He had, of course, the big thing at Marvel he did was that extended run on Silver Surfer with Mike Allred.
Right.
But he also had a very long run on Fantastic Four, on Superior Spider-Man, and so he is somebody who will stick on a title if given the opportunity. So,
and if it's,
I think generally he only goes to a title if he has several stories to tell. So,
and if the quality is anything close to Silver Surfer with Allred, it's going to be really good.
Yeah.
Is it still me? Because I'm up on page. I haven't really been great about pages here, I guess. I'm on page, whatever it is, 74 of the Big Lunar catalog.
Still you. I'm on 83.
Okay,
so.
You said Supergirl #1 by Sophie Campbell. I don't know much that she's done. It's just a new Supergirl title. I normally would get a new Supergirl title just to see what it's like. It seems very... Well, it looks like she's done some work on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and things, but I don't know. It does have a new costume for her, designed by Stanley Art Germ at Lau. So I like the design. It's not, Supergirl, I think, has the record next to the Wasp on different costumes, but it's a definite maybe for me. We'll see.
Always be your maybe, huh, Mike?
Yes, always be my maybe.
What is up with all these redacted covers on DC this month? Did you notice that?
I have no idea.
I guess
it's like
I guess somehow to do with the crossover that's going on. Maybe I'm not for sure.
Oh, you know what? I think somebody's going to die with the JSA is why they redacted that one.
Oh,
it says
no.
so they don't want to. The cover must reveal that.
Okay. Who do you think it's going to be? Who's the least significant JSA
I haven't
member?
read a single
'Cause that's
issue
who
of
it will
that new
be.
JSA run yet.
Okay.
And I'm trying to think who some of the main characters are. But it's not going to be
Well, I'm looking at the covers.
it's not going to
You
be the
know,
big ones.
we got Our Man, Green Lantern, Flash, Hawkman, Wildcat. Those are the only ones I. Oh, I think that's supposed to be Sandman, Doctor Fate.
Okay, Sandman. He's died a couple times, but well, they all have
Okay.
and came back. But
Yeah.
Sandman
They
is
got
always traditionally known as the oldest Justice Society member.
Oh, okay.
I-
I figured it was Wildcat.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. It could be Wildcat, but as far as the age thing, I mean, Sandman. That'd be my guess if you're gonna,
Okay.
hold me to it.
I promise not to hold you to
Okay.
it. So. 83?
83.
All right, so I just want to mention we have issue 6 of the New Gods solicited, and I got my shipment in just a couple of days ago, and the first 2 books I pulled off the pile were New Gods and Batgirl. So I'm current on those 2 titles, and this is probably, they don't say if this starts, it's the last issue of the current story arc or starts a new arc, but I figure after 6 is when we're going to do our New Gods episode, right?
Yeah.
So even if it's not the completeness of the first story arc for New Gods, that's where we're going to insert that. So sometime May or June, look for that to be our topic of discussion.
Yes.
So be reading New Gods, both old and new, Kirby and Rampage.
You just read issue 3 or 4 recently.
3, because I think that is the one that just came out.
Okay.
It was Batgirl 4, but New
Oh,
Gods
that's
I
right.
think it's
Yeah.
just at 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
My next thing's on 92.
Let's see here. I am on page. Come on. Page 79, and it's Mr. Terrific Year 1, number 1. It's by a writer named Al Letson. I'm not familiar with the name. Art and cover by Valentin Delandro. Also not familiar, and it's just a 6-issue series that's going to cover the origins and first year of Michael Holt, the second Mr. Terrific. And I'm just curious enough to check it out. He's definitely a huge improvement on the Golden Age Mr. Terrific as far as, interest levels. What I do hope is that Mr. Terrific recently has been portrayed as kind of caustic and kind of a jerk, really, in some of those Justice League Unlimited issues. I am more so in actually like the Challengers, those ancillary titles that are connected to the Justice League team. But he's
They're giving him a Mr. Fantastic personality.
yeah.
Kinda,
You know what?
Like.
That's a good comparison. Yeah, I hadn't really thought of that, but it seems like they're going out of their way.
Relate to the normal person because he's so smart.
Maybe could be. Yeah, he's just bossy.
I'm still on 92.
Okay, you go ahead.
Okay, so 92, and this is just some. So this month at DC, they have some variant covers, and I scrolled right past them for Superman, and they're calling this the Super Smash Up variants. Now, it's not Super Smash Brothers. It's just basically variations on all or most of the other DC characters as Superman. So there's an Aquaman cover, there's a Batman cover, a Green Lantern cover, Harley Quinn even, all the Justice League, Wonder Woman, Flash, and then there's like a Superman issue where they have lots of different characters in Superman costumes. And the reason why I hate this is because what's going to happen in a few months? Because the reader demanded it, they're going to have to tell stories about all of these Superman mashup characters. And I'm not even remotely interested in it.
I can't say
but
I
we
would
know it's
either.
going to happen. Yeah, we know it's going to happen. So
I'm on
finished
102.
with DC,
What
so.
do you?
Okay. I'm done with
Okay.
DC. So
This is my last
yep.
one from DC. It's the Superman versus Shazam, all new collector's edition number 58. It's the facsimile edition. It's replicating the oversized tabloid treasury size, And I remember this one really has some pulls on the nostalgia with me because I just remember this as a kid seeing that Rich Buckler cover art. You've got Captain Marvel and Superman duking it out on the cover, and behind them is Mary Marvel and Supergirl. And I just yeah, it might have been the first time I really realized just how much I liked Rich Buckler art. Um, it's written by Jerry Conway, at least it was way back then. But it's yeah, it's if you have any if you like seeing that kind of art, the interior art is also by Buckler, by the way. And I will say he's probably a better cover artist than an interior artist, but still, this is worth every bit of the $14.99 for those 72 oversized pages. That's it for me.
All right, so I thought it was weird in the DC catalog that, with Black Label, they put the special, black background, but they like split the Black Label tiles up in the catalog. Did you notice
I
that
did,
too?
yeah. I have no
Yeah,
idea what the
this is
heck's.
so weird. So,
I quit trying to
well,
figure it out.
I'm on 149. So it's still this was kind of a slow catalog for
It
me.
was
So,
for me too. Go
all
ahead.
right. So you got you
No,
don't have anything on
that
that
was
before
my next one, but
149?
this is your. You should
Okay.
talk
Yeah,
about
I'm gonna
this.
take this
Yeah.
one. So, okay, so I've actually, this is me. Imagine me complaining about something. I know that's hard to imagine, but here we have Mark Spears Monsters number 5. Okay, this is from Keen Spot, it's actually, I guess, solicited under, what is it, Execution Posse Holdings.
Yeah.
But my actual gripe here is that I just got a notification that my order for issue 3 of Mark Spears Monsters had been canceled because of a shortage.
What?
So, yeah, so it's like I was wanting to collect this entire series, just because, again, I had the privilege of having Mark Spears at my show in 2023, and got to meet him before he kind of blew up. So one of two things has happened here. Either Keen Spot has pulled an IDW where they put those to print before the final order cutoff, which happened like on the first Last Ronin with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Which this is what I actually hope the problem is, because what I'm actually concerned is that Lunar is turning into the next Diamond, in that they are pulling stock from the smaller
Oh.
people to feed the larger. So again, I hope this is a Keen Spot issue. I hope it is not Lunar kind of taking on some of the things that made a lot of retailers upset with Diamond, in that they were prioritizing the big orders and not the people who were putting their orders in on time.
Yeah.
So anyway, I don't know. You got anything else to add on
No, that's
on the King Spot?
so no indication at all whether that issue 3 will ever have another print run or.
Oh, it will 100% have another printing.
Okay.
But it's like I pre-ordered it to get the first
Oh,
printing,
right,
and
right.
and yeah. So I'm curious to see again what happens.
Yeah.
So.
No, I agree with you. That's not good. I'm not until 195.
195. Okay. Well, let's see. What is that? Is that an image?
It is.
Okay. Well, why don't you just go ahead?
So this is issue 21 of a series called Farmhand. Now, I covered the first volume of Farmhand on an episode, one of the earlier episodes of Mike's Comic Shop Roadshow. I had it recommended to me by Philip down at a shop in Jackson, Mississippi called Offbeat, and I never did get past that first arc, and this just reminds me that I'm glad I'm going to buy the trades, or I'm just gonna, because I think if it's been that long since I read the first arc and they're just now on issue 21. Rob Guillory is the writer and the artist, but I'm definitely going to look into maybe buying some trades of the volumes past that first one. It's just a good reminder to see this.
I'm on 200.
Go ahead.
All right, so this is a recommendation from Michael Cathro, also in Image. Energon Universe Special 2025. And this is a special printing of the 2025 Free Comic Book Day. And the Energon universe is basically Image's Hasbro line,
Hmm.
where it's G.I. Joe, Transformers, and Void Rivals. And Void Rivals was the title that they kind of snuck the Hasbro universe, in out at there at Image.
Surprise.
So yeah, surprise. So there you have it. So that's a recommendation from Michael.
Are you getting those?
Then
Any of those? Did you read any of the Void Rivals or
I picked up Void Rivals several copies because it was just a
it
number
was hot?
one,
Yeah, yeah,
and I think they're still sitting in a box
yeah.
someplace.
I think I gave my
So,
number one to Shad, and then I ended up going back and buying like the third printing of her. So,
oh really? I guess I need to at some point I need to go through my books that I've bought, like the just in case books,
mhm.
and see if any of them are actually worth any money.
That takes time, and the time gets in
It
the way of
does,
you need
yeah.
time for reading, for fun.
Hmm. Exactly. So
Well, I'm not far
I'm
past where
actually
you are. I'm at one. I'm
then
at
go ahead because
205.
I'm not till I'm at 204, 247
Oh,
is where
okay.
I'm at.
I got a
So
couple then.
yeah.
So I'm gonna once again promote an issue written by a gentleman that I had the privilege of interviewing for the Roadshow named Doug Wagner. It's the second issue of 5 of I Was a Fashion School Serial Killer. So if you are a fan of the weird, of the horror, of anything in that, he has had some pretty big names like Hickman and some others really laud his work. So if you like that kind of stuff, definitely get it. I sure enjoyed it. And I thought that Doug was just a super guy.
Yeah, we did mention that first issue last
We
month
did,
as
yeah.
well. So
Yeah. So going on to um, page 214, um, when I was down over in Salt Lake City, I seen the Rockefellers on the wall, and I bought the first 3 issues. It's one of the few Ghost Machine books that I haven't read, and I heard that it was good, and so I got those first 3. Haven't read. Oh, I did. I read the first one last night, but this is issue 6, and it's a story. The book is written by Peter Tomasi. He was a longtime DC editor and then also a writer. He was kind of famous for his Super Sons series. And art by Francis Manapul, who I know him mostly from Legion of Superheroes, maybe 15 years ago. I really liked his art, and so far it's been really good. I mean, this first issue is enjoyable, and again, as opposed to some of the distillery stuff, this Ghost Machine has really failed to miss for me with anything yet. So
well, good.
we'll see. Okay, up to you.
All right. So I'm at 247. So is
Yeah,
it back to
yeah,
me?
it is. Yep.
Oh wow. Okay. All right. So on 247, I'm just going to mention this because I've been reading the volume one of this series. I just finished issue 3 a couple of days ago, but they're having a second volume of Sherlock Holmes Dark Detective, and I guess I'm just mentioning this. I'm probably going to jump off of this title. Sherlock, I enjoy usually Sherlock Holmes stuff, and if you're a huge Sherlock Holmes fan, this feels like Sherlock Holmes. I mean the traditional Sir Arthur Conan Doyle original stories. It feels appropriate to that. I mean, I like Sherlock Holmes. I guess I'm not as huge of a fan that I want to continue to read these. So they weren't. It wasn't bad, but it's just like, I don't feel like I'm missing anything. So,
Yeah.
but for fans of Sherlock Holmes, if you are a fan, then I think this is from IPI. I think this is something that you should consider picking up if you consider yourself a big Sherlock Holmes fan.
Yeah. I remember reading a lot of the novels as a kid or young adult. I really enjoyed, I mean, the classics like Hound of the Baskervilles and things like that. But
Yeah.
I did have this earmarked mostly just to ask you to say what you just said because I knew
Oh,
you'd been
okay. All
reading
right.
it and I seen this
Mm-hmm.
was a new volume. So, yeah, it's something I'd
And
maybe
who
would
knows?
try, but I don't know.
Yeah, I could maybe change my mind when I actually go to put my order in,
Yeah.
but I we'll just see.
I don't have anything until tomorrow's on page 318.
Oh, okay. Well, then I got a few things before. I got two things before then. On 255, there is Vanishing Point #1. Now, this was written by Mark Russell. I believe that this is the sequel to, what was it, Polis? It was a
Oh yeah,
one-shot
right, yeah.
last month. So I think this is the series that is
Oh,
that's springing out of that.
yeah.
I don't know. They made it sound like that the Polis was going to be something that was leading into something else.
Mhm.
So I'm assuming that Vanishing Point is that. So this is that. It's the same description as Polis was, which is a sci-fi part horror anthology series.
Mhm.
So I can't imagine that this is not what they were talking about. And with it
Sure.
being the same writer, I'm going to just make the assumption that it is. So,
I think that's a safe assumption.
yep. So from Mad Cave, Vanishing Point #1.
Mad Cave is
And
kicking
then-
butt. I just got to say, overall.
Yeah, they've had some good stuff. And then on 304, this is from a new publisher that I am not familiar with, Recall Publishing. It's just called The Future Is, and I assume the asterisks are supposed to be for some type of profanity, but the cover just also has asterisks. So I'm going to, maybe the title just is The Future Is. But REKCAH Publishing. So this is basically a cyberpunk story written by Fred Van Lente. And what I guess the big draw for this one, is that it's going to be 60 issues.
Yeah.
So they are advertising this now as a 60 issue series. So basically, the hacker wars are over and the black hats won. And if you aren't familiar with the terminology, the black hats are typically the hackers that hack to disrupt and cause problems. And of course, they mention the television series Mr. Robot, which the first two seasons of that show were really, really exciting. But they are doing some things inside of this issue that I think, or at least one thing that I think is pretty interesting. The first is that there is supposed to be an interactive hacker experience with Capture the Flag challenges in each issue. So what Capture the Flag is for cyber security is this concept that you're scanning and attacking a server, and you are trying to find pieces of information that are then revealed to be flags. So that's the concept. So they're going to have something related to these Capture the Flag challenges in each of these issues. And then the second thing they're doing is the price of each issue is, after the first, is $4.04. Now, 404 is the error message you get from a web page whenever the page is not found. So it's a 404 error, which is why I'm assuming that the price is going to be $4.04 after the first issue. So that gives me a little bit of hope that they are going to do something really, really cool here. Just because of those little, that's not really an Easter egg, but it's just kind of neat to see that much thought being put into this series.
Yeah.
So I am definitely in.
Well, I'm glad you gave that explanation about the hacker side of Capture the Flag, because what I was thinking it was going to be talking about was like what you would play in a video game, a first-person shooter.
Like a first-person shooter, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, I've played user levels or user mods or whatever, and it's a lot of fun, but clearly not the same thing as what they're talking about here.
Not what they're talking about there, yeah. So I'm curious if it's just like something you do in the issue, or if it's something you're going to have to jump online and try to figure out.
Yeah.
So.
But it's pretty. It says right here a bold commitment, and that is, 60
That is,
issues. Yeah. That's like 5 years if you're going 1 month
Monthly,
at a time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So like I said, I'm in.
I wonder
you got me.
Yeah. I wonder if the commitments extends to the creators.
Well, I would assume for the writer, yes.
Yeah.
The artist, that's going to be a different story.
Right.
So.
All right. So, are you?
I got 334 is my last thing, so I think you're before
Yeah, I got a
me.
couple things in tomorrow's, and then that's it. Um, on page 318, we have I know it was offered before, but this time it's a hardcover. It's Marshall Rogers' Brightest Days and Darkest Nights, and that's nights with a K, and it's like it describes. It's a reference book, art book, talking about the iconic artist Marshall Rogers. And I mean, it just really appeals to me because I'd like to say I really believe that this is when I really became a Batman fan. Was that late '70s? Joker Fish, um, Silver St. Cloud, those characters, all that Steve Englehart stuff. So, which of course introduced me to Rogers. So I think for 144 pages, 37.95 is not too much to that kind of quality. It's not too much to ask. And then on the next two pages, we have the monthly offering of Back Issue Magazine and Alter Ego. It's Back Issue Magazine number 160 is covering all of those superhero swimsuit editions, especially by Marvel and Betty and Veronica, and then it also covers some DC's strange sports stories and things like that. The classic DC Marvel softball rivalry. So that looks like it'd be fun. Then Alter Ego number 194 covers none other than the editor, the rascally Roy Thomas. He's celebrating 60 years in comics, and it's
And was lived not too terribly far
that's
from
correct. Yeah. So those are two. I don't get every one of these. I get most of them. So these are going on the list to buy. And I will say, I think if you want to support Tomorrow's, buy directly from them. That helps them stay afloat. Whether
here.
it's digital or hard copy, that's better than going through a distributor. Normally, I wouldn't say that because that's kind of what we do is here cover catalogs. But in this
Hmm.
case, I know that they would appreciate it.
Oh yeah.
That's it.
So on 334, it looks like we are getting a new little comic news uh, eight pager.
Yeah.
This is actually from Chip Zdarsky. So the name of the newsletter is Zdarsky. It's a Zdarsky Comic News, and I guess it's going to be a little bit tongue in cheek. I'm not for sure.
It
It's only
it is a
eight
lot
pages.
tongue in cheek.
Okay, so it's not the first
No,
issue.
I don't know
Okay,
what
that's good.
I
Okay.
got this at that shop in Utah, and dude, this is great. It's worth whatever you got to do to get it. It's great.
Okay. All right. So anyway, this is the first time I'd seen it. So and I guess got to read some of these things off the cover.
Yeah.
All right. So the top thing is Omnibusted. Chip's war against books being so big they crush your boys when you try to read them in bed continues. And then there's Avengers versus X-Men versus Fantastic Four versus Justice League versus Defenders. The big news event finally answers the question: what would happen if the heroes fought heroes? And then, the new hot trend, FetCons. Making it so your favorite character always had fetishes. Hal Jordan needs you to wear yellow tonight. Excluded why nobody cares about your favorite mutant and why that's okay. So it's just very humorous take. $1.29. I'm glad to know that this has been out for a while. Because I was not familiar with this. I had never seen it before.
Yeah, I have
so,
no idea what issue this is. I have that I got for free at the shop. You can also
Yeah.
subscribe to his newsletter and get some variation of this
Okay, I think
on Substack.
this one is number 11.
Okay,
So you probably have like 9. Okay, so
Probably.
it shows on this cover here that in the UPC box it says Zdarsky Comic News 11. Does yours have the UPC box on the front
let's
cover?
see here.
Lower left.
Number 5.
Number 5.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So
It's from November of 24. I just grabbed it along with all of the other catalogs and stuff that was for
Oh,
free
okay.
Because that's what I do. Grab
Okay.
free stuff.
That's what you do.
Yeah.
Grab the stuff. So all right. Cool.
Yeah, but
So,
it's
anyway.
you
This
you
stuff
enjoy it.
looks
It's
fun.
funny. I think there is one page I just want to point out. There is a market analysis page that is, like you said, tongue in cheek, and it's got like total comics market in a pie chart with 99% manga. And it says in its 33rd year of being a fad. And then 1% is everything else. And then kicked out from that 1% is another pie chart, and it's got all the other categories. It's just hilarious. I wouldn't do it justice to try to describe it. You got to look at it yourself.
Okay.
When I see you next, I'll just give you this copy. You'll like it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll have to flip through it. Yeah, that'd be cool to read. So, all right, we ready to jump over to Marvel?
Yeah, I think we are.
Okay. All right. So So Michael Cathro mentioned, and because he actually commented before I actually had a chance to go through the catalog, that once again this month from Marvel, we have some additional Alex Ross Timeless covers. I did not make a list of all of them, but just so you know, if you have been a collector for the Alex Ross Timeless, you have more books to pick up this month. Quite a few, actually. So you definitely want to be on the lookout for those.
I've liked every single Timeless that I've picked up. I mean, how many have there been?
Okay, so these are variant covers
okay.
of the Alex Ross art that he did for
That's
initially
right,
for the mural at Marvel of all the heroes. Then he did a villains, and now they're doing some additional heroes.
Okay.
So
I must be thinking
this
of a
one's
different.
got
I thought it was Timeless. It's
so Timeless it started as a Kang
Yeah.
and Miss Manners series. And I think there's been 2 volumes of that.
Yeah, okay,
So
that's
this
what I
is
was
just
thinking
the Alex Ross Timeless
Okay.
variants.
Okay.
So, so my first thing's on 7 because I wasn't going to talk about Godzilla unless you want to talk about
no.
Godzilla.
I'm not until 11.
Okay, all right. So you can see on page, what page is this? Page 6, one of the Timeless variants, which is the, it's the Captain, one of the Captain Marvels. This is the Monica Rambeau Captain Marvel Timeless variant. Okay. But so Fantastic Four number 32, this was a mention from Michael Cathro, once again, that there is an Impossible Man cover. And as I dug into this catalog a little bit more, I discovered that there are actually a few Impossible Man covers, and they are also pop-up covers. So you have Impossible Man pop-up variant covers for a few issues here this month from Marvel. I didn't find them all, but like the Avengers number 26 has an Impossible Man pop-up cover. That FF32.
Yeah.
So there are quite a few. I think there's probably like 4 or 5. I guess I can search for them, but yeah.
Well, I agree with Michael that these Alex Ross covers are. I mean, they remind me of. They're basically waist up images of these heroes. They remind me of those DC posters that they sold years ago. But Photon, that I've always thought she's had one of the best, or Captain Marvel, whatever, that white and black costume.
That image is Captain Marvel.
Okay,
so.
Captain Marvel. Okay, so I always loved her costume, but yeah, I can kind of see what he's talking about, wanting to get those just for the covers, if nothing else.
Yeah, I have a Captain America. I think it's the only one that I have part of my personal collection, but a lot of them are pretty cool. So.
Yeah.
My next thing's on page 20.
Okay, well, I've got 11 and 12 basically, and it is Giant Size X-Men number 1. No, it's not a throwback in time to the original from 1975. This is basically a celebration marking the 50-year anniversary of that issue, of that original one. And it's going to basically be a retelling or a rethinking of some of the big X-Men story arcs like Days of Future Past, Age of Apocalypse, House of M, and Dark Phoenix Saga. So I got to thinking, I'm not the most well-read about Marvel stuff. This might be a good way to learn a little bit about those stories. Maybe it'll even prompt me to read the originals first and then get this. But yeah, it sounds like it'll be quite a bit of fun. Colin Kelly and Jackson Lanzing, the dynamic duo of writing, and Adam Kubert on art. I'm good till 20.
Oh, that's still you then. I'm on 40.
Okay.
Oh no, I'm 20. I'm sorry,
Oh,
I
that
am
is
on
you.
20.
Okay, go
Yeah,
ahead.
that's both of us. Yeah. So okay, so I know why you're mentioning this, probably because of Mark Wade. So we have a 4-issue Fantastic Four series called Fantastic Four Fanfare, written by Mark Wade. It's going to be an anthology series, which each issue focusing on a particular team member. And it looks like from the solicit that the first issue is going to focus in on the Human Torch.
Yeah. I like the cover. I don't know if fanfare if that title's been used since Marvel Fanfare back in whatever era that
Yeah.
was, but
Yeah, not that I'm aware of.
it's
So.
the same lettering or typeset or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's yeah, that's what caught my eye was the cover, and then I seen that Mark Wade was a writer along with Alan Davis, and Davis is also doing some of the art. So yeah, I think that might be kind of fun.
And this, where it says that Mark Wade and Ramon Rosanas depict an escalating prank war between the Human Torch and the Thing, that's an homage. Well, not an homage, but that's a throwback to the Marvel Fanfare April Fool's Day
Yeah,
issue
yeah.
that had Thing and Johnny in it. One of my favorite issues of Marvel Fanfare. All right, so now I'm on page 40.
Okay, it's still you.
Okay, so this is actually a question for you, Mike. Did you know that Mark Russell is writing X Factor?
I did,
Oh,
and I
okay.
bought the
All right.
first few issues, and I'm like so far behind. I thought, well, I can just read them on the app. So
Ah,
there's
okay.
only so much money I will just throw away. You know, I think it'll be enjoyable because I read the first issue or two, and
Okay.
between Russell's and whichever one Gail Simone is doing, the Uncanny, I believe, X-Men. Those are
Mm-hmm.
the two best that I've read.
Okay. All right. 42. We have Hulk and Doctor Strange #1. This is the next in the J. Michael Straczynski series of one shots. So we have the two former Defenders teaming up for an issue, and then additionally, there is a backup story where May Parker and Agatha Harkness team up. So the first, let's see, I've read the Doom Rocket one. There wasn't a backup story. This is the first time that I think that there's a backup story in one of these issues because I
Oh,
have the Captain America Volstagg, but it just came in this week. I haven't had a chance to read it yet.
yeah. Cover by Terry Dodson.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on page 57, and
Okay.
you know me and these facsimiles. Um, if listeners, if you aren't lucky enough to have the original, we are seeing Fantastic Four #48 facsimile edition. It's the first of the Galactus trilogy, and we covered the trilogy on Campus Comics Cast a few episodes ago. And I have to tell you, I'm won over by Fantastic Four, especially of that era. And I am
Mm-hmm.
doing quite a bit of reading on the Marvel app of those comics. But if you want something that's got the ads, got everything, basically everything except for the price is what they don't put on there. Or the yeah. So get this. It was originally published. Um, I don't know. I can't. It doesn't say the year. I'd say
Well,
probably
would you
mid
like me to go
'60s.
grab my
I
copy
know you
and
got
look at the
one.
public?
I know you got one.
And they're going to be reprinting 49 and 50 over the next couple of months
Yeah, that makes me want to
as
get
well.
because
So you
I've
can get
got one. I think I've got 49, and then I've got the This Man, This Monster, which is 51
50.
or
Uh, 48, yeah, 51.
51. So
And then
yeah,
52 is first Black Panther, along with
yeah, and
53.
I've got that facsimile already.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, cool. I actually don't have anything else in Marvel to page 111.
I'm done in Marvel.
Okay, and last month I think they had the ROM Epic Collection. So now they are adding volume 1 of the Micronauts
Mm.
Epic Collection. So if you want to get the Micronauts in the non-hardback, less expensive format, this one's going to cover issues 1 through 20 and annual 1. So it looks like it's going to be, well, let's see. If they continue that, it's probably going to be 3 volumes for Micronauts and then 2 volumes for the new voyages. You're looking at probably 5 books
Mm-hmm.
instead of just like the 3 hardcovers. So I didn't buy those to read. I bought those just to have on the shelf. So
That's important.
oh yeah, I just want to show them off. So
Yep.
all right, you got anything else from Marvel?
I don't.
All right, you ready to get that couple of things from Diamond that any people may or may not ever receive?
I I am. It's definitely a crapshoot. So let's
Yes,
let's
that's
give her
right.
a look.
So, all right. So I guess we can just round robin this until we run out of things to talk about. By the way, in the past we've been doing the gems of the month, but it's so pitiful at Diamond what they're suggesting as
Yeah.
the gems of the month. I'm not even going to mention it this time. So if you were hoping for that, that part of our podcast, it has been discontinued. I know that's a huge disappointment, but I do want to mention right out of the gate that from Dynamite we have Gargoyles Demona issue number 1. This is also a recommendation from Michael Cathro. I'm of the age that I am past the Gargoyles. I missed that time. I know that it was considered to be a little bit more. I mean, I don't want to use mature in the wrong context, but it is like a more mature storytelling than what you got from typical kids fare.
Mm-hmm.
So, but also, what's nice about this is there's a Mark Spears cover for Demona
Oh, I
on
didn't
issue
notice
number
that.
1. Yeah.
Okay.
What do you got?
My first is going to be a book from Distillery, believe it or not. It's called Galactic
Okay.
Number One. I figured that might be something you would be interested in, even though it's
You know,
Distillery.
I'm done with Distillery at this
Yeah.
point. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not super impressed. I've got issues 2 and 3 of Life. They've been sitting over here within arm's reach for a couple of months now, and I haven't touched them because there's other stuff I'd rather read first.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I just have at this point it's got to be something pretty impressive from Distillery to get me to pick it up.
Well, it caught my eye because I know you like science fiction, and I don't know if I mean it's not any creators that resonate with me. Kurt Pyers and on writing and Amilcar Pena.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with either of them either.
And
so.
it just says it's for fans. It's a science fiction sort of space opera for fans of Star Wars saga and sex criminals. I don't know how sex criminals fits into that genre.
Well, it probably just means it has mature content.
It might. It's the one thing that kind of caught my eye was what if George Lucas and Quentin Tarantino expletive and had a baby. That baby would be Kurt Pyers and this Amilcar Pena Galactic. So, who knows? I don't know that I'll get it. I just am pointing it out.
Fair enough. Yeah, if I'm going to pick up a sci-fi anthology this month, it's going to be that Mark Russell Vanishing Point series.
Yeah.
That's if I'm going to pick between that and Distillery, I'm going to go with the Mark Russell one.
There you go.
I just feel like he's got a little bit more chops at this point. So
Yep.
okay, now the next thing that I'm going to mention is an offered again because I do not remember seeing this previously. This is from Black Box Comics, and the title is now. If you just are reading this, it's Secret World of Modern Banking, which doesn't sound particularly exciting, but I believe it's actually IT Secret World of Modern Banking. So that's what I teach is IT information technology, and when I looked at this and read the solicit, I'm just going to read it from Scott McDaniel, the acclaimed artist of Nightwing and Daredevil. Bank information technology expert Evan Adonis works at the nexus of the bank's communication and data networks. The executive's corruption, lies, and revenge and abuse he discovers is terrifying. In the internally corrupt world of modern banking, the IT expert is both the most powerful asset and the most hunted liability. So the IT side of this book has me intrigued. It's tough to, I think, do computer stories in comic books. So this month I have 2. We have the Fred Van Lente, and what's bad is I have already forgotten the name. Oh, The Future Is.
Yeah.
which I'm going to try that one. If I can track this one down, since it's offered again, and it's 5 issues, and all 5 issues are being offered again. So maybe it's already out there, and I can just jump on eBay and order it, because I can't imagine I'm going to be able to get it from Diamond.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to track that one down. But that caught my eye. I'm particularly interested in that, so I am going to try to find it.
Okay. My next of my 3 is from Dark Horse, called Blue Book, the Library Edition. So this is the first volume of some stories that have been printed in single issues by James Tynan IV and art by Michael Avon Oeming. And it's basically alien stories, UFO stories, true weird stories, tales of ordinary people encountering, strange and impossible stuff. So the reason it's caught my eyes because I did buy the first issue that came out, the single issue, a few months ago down in Dallas. I haven't read it yet, but yeah, I don't know. It's you're talking about dropping $50, and I don't know how many pages it is. It doesn't say. So, take your chances.
There you go. Yep. All right. So my last thing is a collected set from Ablaze Publishing, and I thought Ablaze was in the Lunar catalog, but apparently they aren't. Weren't they in there in the past?
I thought so. Yeah.
Yeah. So that kind of makes me wonder if they've chosen to abandon Lunar. But this is J.R.R. Tolkien Genesis collected set, and I must mention this more because this was something that I did not know about. So apparently, one of the translations that J.R.R. Tolkien did early on was a translation of the Finnish myth called Kalevala, Kalevala. So this is a comic book adaptation of J.R.R. Tolkien's adaptation or translation of this Finnish mythological story. And this is a double box set that also includes Tolkien Lighting Up the Darkness, which is basically his time in the 1910s between Oxford and World War I. Now, since then, I assume it doesn't explicitly say that this is also a graphic novel, talking about Tolkien. So I will, at a minimum, pick this up for one of my sons, if not for myself as well.
Yeah, I seen that I had the physical catalog first that I read on the plane, and I thought, I need to definitely look this up on the website, and wait and see if you bring it up. And if you didn't, I was going to queue you up for it. But yeah, if you're a Tolkien fan, I'd say, and I know you and your son are.
Yeah, and it's something that you can also just order off of Amazon. So.
Right.
It's on pre-order still on Amazon as well.
There you go. So. My last book or pick is Terry Moore Covers, and it's just one of them deals where he is a great writer, but his art is just amazing to me, and especially if normally you would see black and white on the interiors, but the covers are full color. And I didn't know this, but it says in a solicit that he has been the first issue of Strangers in Paradise came out 30 years ago. So if you're a fan of the Terryverse, I'd say for $36, this is worth your time. I don't know how many pages it is, but it's just a lot of nice art to see. And I did buy, I think at a store somewhere, a Terry Moore art book, and it's just beautiful stuff. So that's my last one. In shops on May 28th, okay. Hopefully, God willing, and the creek don't rise.
All right. Well, do you have any things that you're looking forward to or investment picks? I'm going to give you a second to get your thoughts in mind because my pick is both of these. What I'm looking forward to and my investment pick. So I'm going to take a chance on this The Future Is series. Number one, I like the premise, about the hacker wars, the commitment to the 60 issues, the mention of Mr. Robot in the solicit. Mm-hmm. So I am both looking forward to that story and I am also thinking that there's a chance that this could turn into something bigger.
Okay.
So if they can deliver on that promise and build that world and keep people engaged in it, I think there's a definite possibility with that book. So
Yeah. I didn't see really any, I may have missed some, but I didn't see any mention of like, oh, soon to come out on Netflix or this or that. So it's so hard for me anyway to find a good investment pick. But of all of the books that I mentioned that to me could have a chance of being translated into a TV show or a movie is the Lookout one shot. It's prose, so it's gonna probably go into some depth of plot and characterization more so than just a one book with with art and dialogue. So I'm gonna go with that. You know what? I'm just gonna say it's what I'm looking forward to the most because there's not
oh really?
yeah there's not much else in here that I
Oh
can say is really jumping out at me.
well, it doesn't have to be something new. I mean, you could just say you're looking forward to New Gods issue number 6, or
Oh, well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, I'm
that's true.
enjoying
Yeah.
so much of this all in. I guess I
Oh,
tend to
okay.
forget that gosh, I'm trying to remember what issue I just read a couple days ago that I thought, oh, it's. Let me just say this. I didn't bring it up on here, but it's. I've brought it up before, but it's Tom King's Wonder Woman. Let me tell you,
Uh-huh.
that just keeps getting better. It's just is it gives you that butt kicking feeling that when you're done reading it, you're like, yes, Diana is I'm not not everything Tom King does is wins me over, but if I had to pick one thing from Tom King, well maybe two, it'd be Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, and the
Hmm.
Wonder Woman that he's done so far. He's got 18 issues in, I think. So
Yeah. Okay.
that's what I
I've read
think.
the first 17, and I agree with you 100%. It has been outstanding.
Yeah. So
Yep.
thanks for prompting me. Sometimes I can't even think for myself here.
Hey, just another service I
For
provide.
free.
So, yeah, okay. And you know what? I just realized that we haven't talked about what we're going to do on episode 206, have
No,
we?
we haven't. I was while you were
No, we
talking, I was
haven't.
trying to find some notes in
Okay.
our little chat, and I didn't find any. We got to figure out a first five, and
Yeah, we need to do a first 5.
yeah,
So we obviously are going to talk about what we've been reading,
yeah,
since
yeah.
we're both pushing the 120, 130 issues so far. I got to update my digital reads to get my count closer to what yours is, because you're blowing me away right now, since I haven't
Yeah.
been putting my digital reads in the in our chat feed there. But so we need to do a DC. You know what? Here's what I'm going to suggest,
Okay.
just for you, Mike, because I know that this is going to make you super super excited to just dive deep and to also make me read this character. Why don't we do a first 5 elongated man?
Oh, I just felt my heart skip a beat. Oh my gosh. I mean,
So why don't we do that?
yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, so
212
206.
or no one.
No, no,
Oh yeah, the episode.
episode number. So this is 205, right?
Yeah.
So 206, we'll do first 5 elongated man,
Yep.
and what we've been reading.
Yes. Yes. I'm gonna
All
start
right.
tonight.
Okay. You can give me the list so I can start preparing for that.
With him, though, I mean, it's going to be pretty one note with the first five. I'd like to do the best five elongated man stories, but maybe that's a future episode.
Well, or maybe you can give us the first 5, and then maybe pick 2 that we should
Yeah.
also
Okay.
read in addition
Yeah. There you
to.
go.
How about that?
There you go.
That's
Okay.
there's a
That's
good
that's a good
compromise for you.
compromise. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So you can pick the 2 additional, and I know it won't be the Final Crisis issues.
Not Final Crisis, but you're thinking of
Oh, Infinite
Identity Crisis. Yeah.
Identity
Yeah.
Crisis, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, I knew it was a crisis that you were that upset most people who are fans of
Yeah.
elongated man.
sad.
So, all right. So Mike, is there anything coming on the road show soon?
Yeah. I just recorded about a week ago with our buddy Matt Martin. I used to try to be coy about what the heck was coming out next, but no more. I'm just so the book, the shop that is covered is Austin Comics and books, or books and comics, and the book he recommended to me was The Life and Times of Scrooge McDuck. I didn't talk about this last time, did I?
Well, I think you did.
Okay.
So yes, have we not posted that one yet?
No, it's because
you
I'm
sent it
still
to me?
editing Matt and
Oh,
me and
okay.
Matt's conversation,
Okay.
so it's gone.
So it's coming soon.
Yeah, it's coming
Still
soon.
coming
Yeah.
soon. Still coming soon.
There's a couple other good ones coming. I sometimes I forget because I've got all these different episodes that are in different stages. Whether it's just a recent, I'm going to Columbus here soon to interview a shop called shoot, the Laughing Ogre, and
Okay.
I'm going next week, and they are gonna indulge me for that. So we'll see what they recommend. But yeah, I really should kind of prepare for you to ask me that question better. I'll know better.
Well,
next time.
I just wanna cross promote
Sure,
a little bit.
sure.
I just want to remind people that you've got because it's fairly unique. So
Yeah.
all right, and Mike, if somebody wanted to reach out to you besides at podcasts@bergcomics.com, where might they do that?
They can hit me up on Blue Sky. Just look up Mike's Comic Shop Roadshow. You can find me at Mike at Comic Shop Roadshow or Mike at comicshoproadshow.com. Or you can just make a comment or two if you like on our Campus Comics Cast Facebook page. So any of the above.
All right, and I'm Scott Reed. You can find me at bergcomics.com, BURG comics.com, where there are links to my eBay store and social media. And we will be back soon with episode 206. 206.
Banking comic book was already available since it's offered again from which one? Diamond, the IT one, the IT
right, yeah.
Secret World of Banking.
Mhm.
I wonder if that's available already. I wonder if I can just order that on eBay right now. I'm gonna find out. Do a quick search. Secret World of Banking. Why? Yes, it is. There's 1. There's 4. There's 2. There's 3. Trade paperback. Oh, it came out in 2017.
Kidding me?
No, they must have found a huge backstock or something.
Yeah. Kind of like that Spawn Batman book. They found a whole warehouse full of them.
Because this was, $7.19. It's used, but $4.75 shipping. It's got Volume 1 trade paperback. Let's see. Well, now I feel a little silly for having even suggested it. But,
Nah,
oh well.
who knows? Who'll know?
Yeah, exactly. So, okay. Okay, that's good to know. So, we gotta decide if I can get all 5 issues for $20. If I want the single issues, I think I'll just get the trade.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's already out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if I get the trade for $12,
Yeah.
I think I'll go ahead and order that. So, okay.
Back in 1940, 8 sensational heroes united to create the world's very first superhero team, the Justice Society of America. Now, 85 years later, we're gathering podcasters and bloggers from around the globe for a month-long celebration in an event we're calling JSAPril. Throughout April 2025, join dozens and dozens of podcasters and bloggers as they each share their own unique tributes to the original and greatest superhero team. Get ready for an all-star month of beloved characters, fascinating insights, and incredible stories. Follow the action on social media with the hashtag JSApril, and visit our website for a complete list of participating podcasters, bloggers, and what they're each covering at fireandwaterpodcast.com/JSApril.